It's not the most glamorous job, but it needs to be done. And, after you do it the first couple times, you just kind of like, okay, it's just dirty water, whatever. Good afternoon. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about tanks, black tanks and gray tanks. We've been seeing a lot of questions online about how to handle your tanks when you're stationary for a while, so I just wanted to tell you guys how we handle our tanks. To start off, we have a Grand Design Reflection 312 BHTS. We have 2 gray tanks and 1 black tank. So just general terminology real quick, gray tanks have like soapy water and anything that's not the toilet, and then the black tank has only a toilet that flushes down into it. The gray tanks are for the shower, the washer dryer combo unit, and the bathroom sink. That's gray 1. Gray 2 is just the kitchen sink, and then the black tank is for the toilet. When it comes to whether we leave them open or closed, it depends on what we're doing. We always leave the black tank closed, and you should always leave your black tank closed. If you don't leave it closed, all of the liquids will drain out and the solids will stay, and you'll get what's called a pyramid. If you leave it closed, all of the liquids will stay in there with the solids, and they will kind of make this big sludgy, gross mess. But when you open that valve, all of that liquid will carry most of the solids out. There are ways to flush your tank to get more of the solids out, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. The gray tanks, you can leave them open or closed. It's not going to matter. What we do is when we're stationary, we leave gray 2, which again is the kitchen, we leave that closed. So when I come out and I open the black tank to flush it, I can then open gray 2, and all of that sink water from washing dishes and washing hands and all of that will flush down the pipe, the sewer hose down here. All of that gray water will then come down that pipe after the black water, and it will kind of clear out any solids that might be remaining in that pipe. So otherwise, we could leave it open, and I have left it open before. It really doesn't matter. It's not going to cause a solid pyramid like the black tank could, so it's really up to you. I just like to use that as a flush. Now, gray 1 has shower water, water from the washer and dryer, water from the sink in the bathroom. That one we actually leave open, so let's go up here and talk about that. Down here in the basement is where our valve for gray 1 is. You can see here that we leave this open. The reason we leave this open is because we've been doing laundry and we've been taking showers. When we're stationary for a while and we want to run the laundry, the washer dryer combo unit that we have uses about 8 to 10 gallons per load, and our gray tank in the front is 35 gallons. So you can imagine that fills up pretty quick between showers and laundry. So we just leave this open. It just drains straight out whenever stuff goes into the tank. Not a problem whatsoever. When we're not hooked up to sewer, we don't run the laundry, and we do kind of minimal, more water conserving showers. But when we're hooked up to sewer, just leave it open, let it all run out. This thing here, this other little connection here for the water, this is actually a flush valve for our black tank. This thing is awesome. I have an orange hose here that I only use for this. So when I want to flush out the black tank, I can open that, let gravity take care of most of what's in there, and then I can hook a hose up to this, and it runs to a sprayer that's mounted inside the tank, and it shoots pressured water all around the inside of the tank, gets more solids out, flushes them down. It's awesome. If your RV doesn't have one of these, they actually make like wands that you can hook a hose up to and run it like through a window or through the front door or whatever works for your rig, and you have to go in, keep your foot on the pedal on the toilet to keep it open, and you put the wand down the toilet and it sprays inside the tank, kind of like this thing does. The pull valves for the black tank and gray 2 on this rig are down here next to the sewer outlet. You can see the sewer outlet is here, and if you were to look underneath, I don't know if you can see it on the camera here, you can actually see the 3 pipes that lead into here. So everything comes down through this one hole. So those 2, we leave those closed all the time, and when I want to come out and flush the black tank, I just pull that black valve. I have clear fittings on the top and the bottom of this hose, so I can see how things are progressing. It's not the most glamorous job, but it needs to be done. And after you do it the first couple times, you just kind of like, okay, it's just dirty water, whatever. So I will pull that, flush the black tank, wait for it to drain most of the way. I'll hook up the flush, maybe. Kind of depends, on how much has been going in the tank. And then I'll close that, and then I'll pull that other valve over there for gray 2. I'll see, really cloudy gray kind of soapy water go through. That clears out the hose. Close it up, and then I'm all done. One little tip for you that I've learned from our last year of traveling, the tank flush that's built into this, or I guess if you have a wand, you could do the same thing. Sometimes what I'll do is if we're leaving, like if we're going on a moving day, sometimes I'll just open the black tank, let it do its normal gravity drain, and then I'll close it up, do the other grays and whatever, and then unhook everything and carry on. So then what I'll do is when we get to the next campground, I'll hook everything up, and I will only do this if I know that we have sewer at the next campground coming up. I'll hook everything up, get it all open, and then I'll hook up my orange hose to the in-tank flush and get that going. So when you run that after you've been out driving, all the stuff that's in there kind of moves around and sloshes around and gets all soupy. So then when you run that in-tank flush and you get that thing going, it clears things out really, really well. So that's one way you can kind of deal with if you have maybe some clogs or maybe a big clump of toilet paper or just something that's being stubborn and not wanting to come out of that pipe. Maybe drive around with a bit, get as much out as you can. Get maybe a toilet or two worth of water in there and then drive around and it'll get it all sloshy. So that's one challenge when you're stationary for, a week or two at a time or even longer. There are people that are in these things for months without moving. When you're stationary for that long, you really need to run that flush as often as possible to keep any of these solids from kind of drying out and clumping up. But since we're only stationary for like a week or two at a time, hasn't really been that big of a deal. So driving around and moving around gets things broken up and lets them run down the pipe a little better. So that's how we handle our black tanks. Just real quick recap, always leave your black tank closed, always, always, always. Only open it to dump and then close it right back up because you need the solids and the liquids in there together to keep everything moving around. Gray tanks, you can do basically whatever you want with them. We like to leave one of them closed so we have water to flush the sewer hose after flushing the black tank. We leave one open because we run laundry and showers. If you don't have two, or if laundry and showers aren't a concern, feel free to leave that one closed as well. Hopefully you found these tips helpful, and next time you go out, you won't have to deal with a pyramid in your black tank. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you know when these videos go up at 2 o'clock every day, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.